Welcome to the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast, where we explore the unexplained and mysterious phenomena that have occurred throughout the state of Michigan and beyond.
From UFO sightings to ghostly encounters, we delve deep into the stories, the evidence, and the theories behind these strange events.
We are your hosts. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Wayne.
We are an educator duo that after an encounter with a triangular UFO in 2018 in Michigan, we decided to investigate UFOs and the paranormal. In this podcast, we will be speaking with eyewitnesses, experts, and researchers to uncover the truth about some of the most intriguing cases of paranormal activity in and around Michigan.
Our goal is not to convince anyone of the existence of these phenomena, but rather to provide a platform for discussion and exploration. So, buckle up and join us on this journey down the paranormal rabbit hole.
On an escalator.
There we go.
What are you doing?
Well, it was muted. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another show as we come to you from the shadow of the great Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. We want to welcome you to another episode of the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters. And we had a paranormal dessert that you made today, didn't we, Michelle?
My caramel dipped green grapes with chopped peanuts.
Yeah.
It tastes like little caramel apples, guys.
If you've never tried this, get yourself some grapes,
caramel dip,
some caramel
and chopped
dip,
peanuts. It is delicious.
Yeah, it's really awesome. But thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. It is Sunday, November 9th, 2025. And tonight we're going to talk about our trip to the Foggins and that down in Ohio. And what we learned while we were down there, some very interesting stuff going on. And it is, without a doubt, a very interesting place down there. And that area has some incredible things going on. So we're going to talk about it. I've got some pictures. I've got a couple videos from driving around in a car. And Benny showing us around with his wife, Patsy. And man, just some interesting stuff going on. So I don't know, Michelle, what do you want to
Here's what I will say about the drive. It's been a very long time since I've been able to enjoy the fall colors. Now Wayne is colorblind, so saying fall colors to him, it's like talking to a brick wall. I think he can see maybe the shades.
No, I can see some of the primaries.
Oh, okay.
Like blue, yellow, right? But
shades,
no.
But like some of the oranges going down. It was a beautiful drive. It was an odd drive the way that Google Maps took us, though, because we were expecting to have to go to Columbus and then hop on the 270 and then shoot over east from there. And that was not necessarily, or west, 270 west, but that wasn't the case. So I know that they had construction down around that way.
Yeah. So,
I mean, do we tell the full funny story about going down there? So we went down for a couple nights and we did this Friday after we got after we had gotten off of work, and it was literally the day before the Michigan State game, which is a huge thing.
Oh boy. Yeah, and this is in Michigan. It is a paranormal event when it comes to college football around here. It's ridiculous.
I mean, and especially if you survive the event when you're wearing Michigan colors. So I had my Michigan sweat jacket on and my Michigan hat, and had no time to change from the time that I went to work, because we had our battle, our rivals at my workplace.
Yeah.
And then, so I continue to wear the Michigan gear going down into Columbus. Now, for, those that are not aware, that is Buckeye country. So that is, where OSU is, even where we went to in Zanesville, they had like a branch off of the university. I'm like, great, I'm not making it home. I'm wearing, blue and gold here. So we had taken about an hour drive over to Scioto Downs to go have dinner, have a little bit of fun there and then go back to the hotel. And we're sitting in the Italian restaurant at Scioto Downs, and the chef starts to walk by, takes a dead stop, and looks me up and down.
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, please don't do anything to my food. Please don't do anything to my food. And I'm like, and I just went into full explanation with him. I'm like, listen, came from work, live in Michigan. Everybody was wearing either Michigan State or Michigan gear, and then fortunately he just kind of chuckled and said that, he had moved from the Detroit area a couple years prior and knew exactly what I was talking about. But then I had a lady later in the night yelling, "Go blue and gold." I'm like,
Right.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So considering how many Buckeye sweatshirts, I made it out of there.
Yeah. So it was a cool experience, just that first initial drive that night, and then getting over there to Zanesville to go visit Benny and his family. And for those of you who don't know, all right, so a little bit of background on our guest and what we're talking about tonight. Bennie Foggin is a experiencer. He's been on the show 3 times, and I put together all of his shows into one playlist that you can watch on our YouTube channel to get his full story of what's going on. The 30,000 foot kind of review of his story is that in the mid 90s, well, he's always been an experiencer. Even when he was a child, he had some abduction experiences and things like that, to the point where he went to a surgeon at a VA hospital and they said, "Wow, you had a really good surgeon up your nose, dealing with a surgery." He said, "I never had surgery in his nose before in his life." So, there's all this stuff that's documented about his abductions in all the way through his family and everything. But with him in the mid 90s, him and his wife had an encounter with a UFO that dropped a piece of what can only be called like hot slag. And then the craft moved off. And it was such a interesting thing that had happened. Years later, they were on a television show, and that show was called Uncovering Aliens. And our guest last week, Daryl Sims, was a host or a co-host on that show. And he was an experiencer and everything as well. So he takes a very aggressive stance toward people being abducted and wanting to find these aliens because, they were messing with his family and him. And it was just not a good thing. So Benny got this metal from this craft. It was hot to the touch in their driveway. They had it for a little bit. Then they were moving, and he put the material in a box, and then it was in a storage unit, and then that storage unit was broken into, and he thought that he had lost this metal forever. Figured a lot of things were stolen out of that storage unit. Come to find out, when they're moving into a new place, he finds it again. Now, somewhere along there, when they first got that metal, what did he say, Michelle? That he had water on his finger, and there was a red material, some type of a material that covered the aluminum alloy, right?
I do remember his hands being wet, or some sort of water
Right.
had gotten onto the top or bottom of it.
Yeah. Yep. So, and when water got onto that material, it turned invisible. It was like a cloaking type of material that seemed to react to the water. Now, he wanted this thing tested. So he turned it over to some people from a company called Battelle. And Battelle did tests on it. They wouldn't give him back the material. And they stripped all that red material stuff off of it, or at least the best that they could. Not really good. But he finally ends up getting the material back. They're on the television show. on the television show, they reveal that there's metals of nickel and strontium that are um, out of bounds is the words that they used for Earth materials. So in other words, the isotopes don't match something made on Earth. Fast forward again. So there's, physical evidence that this is something that was manufactured off planet. And they said this right on the show. Fast forward then to the stars. Lou Elizondo and crew, Hell Put Off and all those guys get with Benny, and they go and they do testing on it. Now, according to Lou Elizondo, when they left Benny's house with that material, they were followed by some type of UFO all the way back down to Texas where they did the testing. Now, when they were doing the testing, my understanding is, Michelle, you correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you're working with people in chat and stuff. Chat is very happening tonight, so welcome everybody in chat and watching. But when they did the testing and they were applying like electrical current and stuff to it, this piece of metal was levitating. It was reacting to that metal. All right.
Is this the blue light?
No.
Okay.
No, that's
down.
Anyways,
further. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, somehow the Army now got involved, and I think it was through To the Stars. And I went through that on one of the episodes we did with Benny, or one of the episodes I did in between a couple of Benny's episodes. If you look, you'll see that Army Development Command, which develops new weaponry and everything else, talk about getting these materials and working on them. It's right there on the TSS page under their projects thing that's what they're up to. But the Army guy came back with the metal, with Lou Elizondo, and told those guys that it was classified. And, they weren't going to let it get out and all that stuff. So this story takes some crazy twists and turns. There were people from a certain organization that I'm not going to mention right now till we can get some clarification on it from their end, but that were also investigating. And then I'm going to just put it out there like this. They took DVDs and metallurgical tests that were done. So photographs, videos, and copies of metallurgical tests that were done by the Foggin family and never returned them. Basically stole the material or stole the results and stuff.
Oh, we're talking about a certain her. I'm not saying a name. I'm just.
Nope, we're not going to mention any names or that organization until we get
I'll just say
clarification.
Pronouns.
But a lot of people have had their hands in this material. And so when you see people like Gary Nolan out there and he gets asked about, are there materials and stuff? And he says it's classified. He's correct. It is classified and he can't talk about it. And then he'll go into talking about certain things like, you need millions and millions of dollars to test this stuff. Well, the government's testing it. They've been testing it since the mid-90s, and it's all started through Battelle. Now, it's very odd that Battelle started to come out with these weird electronic capacitors, and you can do all that research on your own and go through that rabbit hole. But it is a soap opera of incredible things that have happened that only if the UFO community out there knew about a lot of this stuff, they would be totally different about trying to figure out who has it, if it's real, yada, yada. It's there. Okay. And yes, they are making billions and billions of dollars off of this stuff. that was left by this UFO in, the Foggins property where they lived at that time, which is oddly enough on the opposite side of the hill where they live now in Zanesville. Because we took a drive over there, and we'll show you a little bit of the video of the area where the metal dropped. But it's coming closer and closer and closer. And you guys will see in 2 weeks, we have Stephen Bassett coming back on to talk about this, but it's getting closer that there's going to be some kind of huge reveal. Something's going to happen before the end of the year. That's what everybody is telling me in Stephen Bassett's email to all of the people that he interviews with, and that includes us. They have it on good, like really good intelligence that something big is coming out by the end of this year. Now, I know they always say that and stuff, but if the UFO community really wanted to understand and know something to focus on and fight for, it would be this material and these materials that are recovered by other people that the government goes, or private companies go and in bed with government are doing things with this metal, and they're totally discouraging any kind of citizen research. And that goes for UFOs. You guys know how they've been blocking everything for years, telling you, it's swamp gas, and all this stuff. This has been going on for a long time. And you could probably even trace it back to like Roswell. So we had some very interesting conversations. And I've got some pictures here ready to pull up. Michelle, do you want to jump in on this conversation and
No, I'll wait until you start getting the pictures up, because I guess, what the audience needs to know is that not only was Benny and his family having occurrences and where the metal dropped at the one location, where they're located now, the fun just keeps happening.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, and there is now Benny was trying to explain this to us when we were driving around. That area underground there, he said there was like a underground river that flowed through that area, right? Do you remember what he said they called it? And if anybody's on from Zanesville.
Oh no, and I know that was not one of the parts where I was recording either.
Okay. All right. Oh, and by the way, everybody, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and share us out. And don't forget to leave a comment later. I got to say that stuff where YouTube will get mad at me. You can also join our membership. But anyways, okay. So we sit down. Let me tell you the experience handling the metal. Now, at first we were kind of worried because we were told that a woman who was a psychic, Michelle, you want to tell that story about handling the metal?
Okay, that she had been handed the metal and she passed out. So Wayne's objective was to hand me the metal to see what reaction I had. Of course, I was sitting down because I'm like, if something happens, at least I'm not going to have far to fall, or maybe I'll just fall back in the chair. But I think, Wayne, this is where you could probably bring up the first photo.
So, okay. I've got,
and for those listening, you're going to have to come back so you can.
Yeah. Those of you on the audio podcast, jump over to our YouTube channel so you can see these photos. Sorry. I wish there was some way we could make it happen in the podcast world, but we just can't do that. Okay. So let me go ahead. This is, and then I'm going to tell you my experiences with the metal. Okay. So this is Michelle. This is Michelle handling the metal. This is what's left of it. Look at those nice nails, eh, Michelle?
Hey, always.
This is what's left. This is what's left. This is, now I understand. Trust me, I understand. People are wanting to do testing on it. Benny wants testing done on it. They want to know what's going on. Yeah, it does look like metal cheese.
Metal cheese, because it's
Absolutely.
had what, 2 core samples
Yeah.
after the fact, which obviously are the, the perfect circles.
Now, let me share an image with you guys, and I shouldn't get in trouble for this one. Um, let's see. Oh, because I have this. Let me stop sharing that. Share
Yeah, we can't share
this.
everything that we have all
I
at
know.
once.
Okay. This was an image of a core sample being taken. I'm not going to go into great detail of what's happening here. I'll let you guys speculate on what's happening here. But this is what the metal looked like before that other picture. You can see they're using a core drill to take out a huge core chunk, okay? So that's what we were dealing with beforehand. Now, going back to this. You can see where the parts were broken off here of the core drill. Okay.
There were parts at the end that looked like it that had gotten snapped off,
Like
but
snapped.
but on the underside,
Mm-hmm.
right there where it looks like, if you're looking at it like the letter L, there are very distinct lines
Yes.
where there was a portion sawed off.
Yeah. There was actually a sawing that happened in one of the pictures. You'll be able to see that. All right.
But there was no red material left on that. So that
No,
is what
but
was completely stripped.
but if you guys look closely at this, you'll see these pinholes. That's when TSS, to the Stars Academy, and the Army had a hold of it, and they went and drilled out anything that looked like might be part of that red material. Now, there is a professor at U of M who's doing research on pieces of this. I haven't gotten a hold of him yet. I tried emailing him, and I was told he's not going to answer emails, so I have to text him. I'll take care of that. But he said that no matter what they did, that material will be there. He'll be able to find it. Okay. So now I'm holding this material, and I noticed that when it comes from Michelle's hands, it's extremely hot. Now, metal transmits heat. I get it. It'll store heat, and it'll also dissipate heat very quickly. I'm holding it in my hand, and it's getting warmer, like fast, like faster than you would expect, like in an aluminum alloy, because this is aluminum and it has all kinds of materials in it. But it was getting warm. If you see where Michelle's thumb is, I put my hand on that, and I was holding with my other hand this section right here. And I went to try to see if I could bend it because it was so light, yet it had some density to it. So I wanted to see if I could bend it. And I started pushing on it, and it was pushing back. Like it was resisting. It was getting stronger with the force that I put on it. It was equalizing it out. That's the only way I can describe it. It, I don't want to say it fought back, but think of the Hulk, right? The more pissed off the Hulk gets, the stronger it gets. The more I tried to bend this thing and push on it, the harder it felt. It was really, really bizarre. So, what I want to do is go through a few more of these pictures. And Michelle, if you want, you can talk to some of these. What's going on in chat? I haven't seen anything.
Oh, we have
Like,
a
how's
nice little
chat doing?
we have a good conversation going.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, chat. Willow says a force field. No, I think that the metal somehow is able to increase its resistance to pressure. I think it gets stronger to pressure. Okay. But here you go.
There's the lines I was talking
right.
about underneath.
You can tell this has been manufactured. Like this is some type of manufacturing going on here with this layering. And I think Metalhead, you were the one that was telling us what that is called before, where the metal is in layers. And I don't remember what it's called. I'm not a metallurgist. I'm just a earth science teacher. But here they did a small core sample here. But you can see here where it looks like that piece was broken off.
I mean, there
Right?
were parts, it was either the rigid layers or it was like baby butt smooth.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and I think that was more on the other side. So the side
Yeah.
towards me was the perfectly smooth, or up where that really small hole is
Right here.
near my thumb, that complete area had looked like something had broken off of it, but it too was also extremely smooth.
Yep. So let's take a look at the next shot. Okay, here you go. Now look at this. Now I know there's going to be a movie coming out soon about this, okay? I'm going to just put it out there. There's a movie coming out soon. It's not the Age of Disclosure. They might make mention of this in that movie, but this is something else that's coming out. All right. And you guys will find out more about that as we get closer to that release date. We'll probably have the producer and director and stuff on at that time. But those striations that you see right there are made by the core drill going through. And I wish I could play you the video. I have the video of them drilling through this thing, but I can't show it. I've been told that I'm not allowed to show it. It's private, so we'll leave it at that. Okay. But here you can see this. And Michelle, was this the smooth part right here?
No, that
No.
was still rough.
Was it the underside?
No, it was the other the
Like the
opposite
edge.
side, the
Like the edge,
side
right?
closest to me.
Yeah, the edge.
Yes.
And that's okay. Let's see if we got a picture of it somewhere.
Well, and even the darker parts, I
Mhm.
mean, the top and bottom were were smooth,
Mhm.
but they looked like they were a rough surface.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that was really weird too. Now get this, everybody. On that show, they did testing of some of the material that was on one of the flat sides here before they did all this drilling. I'm talking about that show from 2011. Okay. They tested it, and when they scraped some of this stuff off, you know what they found? It was organic material from the driveway. So that means that this thing had to be hot and molten to get that stuff stuck in there. Right? And then they had to scrape it off. If you had a solid piece that just fell on the ground, you would not have anything inside here. So they literally, and if you watch the show, you'll see this old lady scientist with a really bad wig, but she's scraping the material off and then they put it through a spectrometer. And it shows that it is organic material and dirt and soil and stuff from where it was on the ground. All right. So yeah, it went through what is this? Wayne and Michelle are from Michigan and they are amazing, awesome, fantastic, and appreciate it.
So thank you,
Wayne,
Jason. So,
ah,
but I was looking at Billy's question. So, Wayne, how was your mood prior to handling the artifact compared to afterwards? So, and I
oh,
think in reality, I probably held it longer than he did. So,
I
because I was staring at the thing for probably a good 45 minutes.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't have any kind of a mood before or after. I was just very interested in seeing this thing and playing with it. Like I want to test it, right? I want to try to bend it. I want to see what it does. I want to see what happens to Michelle. But I was amazed
Sacrifice the wife.
with um I was amazed at what it did with the heat from our hands. Michelle wasn't that amazed, but I was pretty impressed with how it would isolate heat in one area. I would hold it in one area with my hand, hold it for a few seconds, grab it with my other hand, and it would be warm to the touch. I'd set it down, I'd pick it back up, it's cold.
Well, I think the only thing that I told you and I told Benny and Patsy was
Mm-hmm.
that, it was very calming
Yes.
holding it.
Yeah. Now, Michelle is the more intuitive, empathic than I am. And she did say that. She said that, it was very calming.
Now, and mind you, they had a couple big dogs
Yeah.
barking off
Yeah.
their section off in a room. And I'm not going to lie, I love dogs, but I'm more of a cat person.
One of the reasons we don't have a lot of video
and
because it would
s-
be dogs barking.
and they did have one pitty in the living room and
Yeah.
so I don't want to say that I'm guarded when it comes to certain or certain size dogs, but I am. Um, but even holding this and just kind of going into a trance looking at it,
Mm-hmm.
it was very, very calming.
Yeah.
And I didn't hit the floor from passing out.
Yep. And so here's another picture of the metal. I'm holding it in my hand, as you can see.
No nails.
Yeah, no nails, no pedicures or manicures or whatever.
Manny's.
But here you can see a top-down view. And you see where a section was cut off here after they made this core sample. Now, some of these samples have made their way to Christian Gillibrand and the whole
Luna.
Luna,
Yeah.
the whole Congress. So this material is in DC right now. Okay. And yeah, that's all I can really say on that. But here, I mean, it's very impressive. Here's your little pot marks, these little holes. They almost would look like if there was gas trapped in the metal when it was molten, and then the gas would come out like pumice, right? Like pumice stones. But that is where the red material was kind of seeping out of this material that we don't have, right? They don't have any of that left on here.
And again, those are the reports that grew little wings and flew away.
Right.
Put it like that for right now.
After they paid to have these tests done, I think they run about $3,000 each. And then a certain person from a certain organization took a lot of their stuff, including the metallurgical reports that they paid for.
Yeah,
so,
sorry that we have to talk in code, but
yeah, I don't want to go out there and accuse anybody of anything until I do some digging. But here's that one edge right here.
So, and then that part by the hole is what I was talking about. That was so smooth.
So smooth. It was ridiculous. And you can tell here's where it's been cut. Right? You can see the markings on it. This right here, it wasn't. This looks like it was snapped off or something cut here, and it might have just reacted and broke off. I don't know. I couldn't break or bend this piece off at all, and there wasn't much to it, as you guys saw. Right. So very, very interesting stuff. Here's the other side. This is the part I grabbed a hold of and was trying to bend, and it resisted. It got harder to try to bend it. Now, I know that when they did these core samples, that they had to go through a few drill bits to be able to get through this. All right. So, yeah. And again, people that are listening, please, in the future, you got to jump over on YouTube so you can see these pictures, what we're talking about. But yeah, there's more of the pinholes where the red material was kind of seeping out of. And by the way, this thing's not oxidizing. If it was straight aluminum, you would expect to see rust. They've had it for
since what, 95? So you're 30 years.
30 years. You'd expect some kind of rust.
I mean, and it's been exposed to the elements, especially if it was in a box.
Yep.
in a storage unit.
And, moisture, winter, summer, rain,
I mean, unless it was a temperature controlled one, but
I doubt that. All right, let's go on. Here's a good shot of the inside where the tubular drill.
a nice fuzzy shot.
Yeah, nice fuzzy shot. I did the best I could with a cell phone. Here you go. This is on that one edge. Michelle, was this the one that you found very smooth?
Well, I'm even like the top where your hand is, what you're zooming in on right now, that was probably the roughest part.
Yeah.
Because of how it had been sawed, but no, the rest of it was relatively smooth.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, there's another shot of it.
So, and like I'm seeing in chat, aluminum doesn't rust. Or doesn't, Metal Man?
Aluminum doesn't rust?
That's what I'm seeing in chat.
Oh,
I know
I
that
think it does rust. I don't know. Now I want to find out. I mean, aluminum is an alloy. Well, it's a naturally occurring element too, but this was some kind of aluminum alloy. That I've got the metallurgical reports on this material, right? Not the other stuff that was coming out of this that was turning invisible and things.
So the question, did anyone ever put a compass on it? And was there a reaction?
Yes.
Well, yes, we did put a compass on
but
this.
I didn't have a real compass. It was my phone. But my phone didn't really react. It was reading, the compass through GPS. So,
but he had the metal, like literally,
like right
touching
on top
his
of
phone.
It. Yeah, yep. And I didn't have anything happen to my phone or anything weird like that. Though there is a weird story that happened after we left there.
Well, first when we were driving, we thought we were being followed.
Yes.
By one of those little white Tesla electric cars through some winding roads. Finally, they turned off. And I know that I had said something to Benny and Patsy about that. And they too had talked about a white car that follows them or a white van. So I'm like, great. Somebody pick up that we were actually, going down there. And
yeah.
Or is that area just being watched and knew that we were in that direction?
I think that whole area is being watched.
Honestly. Well, that leads to something else, but this is Benny's current property, and this is about 15 acres. And when I say like all trees, just beautiful trees.
Yep.
So, but this area, and this is the new property. Mm-hmm. There is activity at this site as well.
Yep.
Both absolutely. In and outside of the home.
Yep. And like Michelle was saying, on the way there, it was pretty creepy. It really felt like we were being followed by that white car. And then Benny ended up telling us that there are white cars that they don't use black cars to follow you and track you, that there's white cars around there that do. But Bigfoot must be in those woods. Why? Yes, it is. And that's what I was just going to tell you.
There's an area. What was the mining that they were doing?
Yeah. Back over here, there's a limestone quarry back in this area. I didn't get it on the picture. If you kept going to the right here, if this is a pano picture, so I was like, scanning, but there's a limestone quarry that's over there. A small.
So, but that was also the area of train tracks. It was the area of that river underneath.
The underground river. Yes.
So now T-Bone said earlier, the Licking River. Does that sound familiar from the conversation?
Man, I don't remember.
So we're going to have to ask Benny again what the name of the river, or what they called it, as far as the water underneath. So, but yeah, you've got all of those things going on in the area. sightings of, I'm going to say beings or entities,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
don't think they're Bigfoot.
at
I'm gonna say it.
the property line.
I don't think they're Bigfoot. I know I'm gonna get in trouble.
Well, I know enough
They look
to,
like Bigfoot.
was it his son or his son-in-law that got
Hmm.
spooked
Yeah, tell him about what he told us when after we left
that night
that night.
on the property line, that he had seen, what was it, eyes or a figure or figures?
Glowing eyes in the woods.
Yep, that had, gotten him rattled enough. And of course, it
Hmm.
was right after, we were there for a few hours and talking, and we spent the evening, went to dinner with,
Yep.
Benny and Patsy, and continued the conversation.
Yep. So
Now,
this is
mind
just
you,
another view.
and I think we drove around for what, a good two,
At
three
least two
hours?
hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
around the whole area.
Here we go. All right. So before I get a bunch of people all pissed off and stuff, I don't think that those things. I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute. I don't think those things are Bigfoot. And I know Benny's gotten in trouble because the Bigfoot people don't want them to be aliens. The alien people don't want them to be Bigfoot. I think it's part of their technology, and I think they can um, read your mind. Like they're able to respond to what you find like culturally acceptable in your area as how they present themselves to you. Kind of like a cloaking type of mechanism, right? So if you're in an area, let's say here in the Detroit area, and you're very much used to small grays and things like that, and haha, little animals and or little alien beings, little green men from Mars, etc. And you happen to encounter one of these things, that's probably what they're going to present themselves to you as. I think they have some kind of technology that allows them to blend in with whatever you would find the least invasive or threatening. So, in Benny's case and people in that area, because when we were driving around, what were we seeing, Michelle, in people's in their yards? What did they have statuettes of? And like those silhouettes. What did we
Oh,
see?
they hit Bigfoots.
Bigfoot. Right. So people are seeing Bigfoot around there, even though we had one of his neighbors kind of drive up and and
Well, and it's
say,
interesting,
no,
like
nothing ever happens around here.
what I see in chat with the mention of demonic activity
Yes.
during the drive. We had went into one of the first neighborhoods that they had lived in, and lo
Yes.
and behold, one of the things that we had driven by was a cemetery.
Yep.
So that backed up to a particular field where sightings had occurred.
Yeah. So in that show with Uncovering Aliens and Daryl Sims and that crew, I think Mike Barra and a couple other people in that show, when you see them walking up to Benny while Benny's sitting on his porch, that's their old house. They don't live there anymore, but we went to that area and I snapped some pictures of that area and I want to show you them now. Because there's going to be a film crew that's going to be coming out there in the spring, it sounds like. And in this field, so their house would be like right here over on the left hand side. This is their old house. That actually might be their old house. I'm not exactly sure, but somewhere over there. And then there's this field. This is the field where Benny says that the little Bigfoot were lined up like in a military formation, right? And they came across the property line into the backyard there and was led by the big Bigfoot with the different type of hair or fur. It was more wavy type of hair. And then there was the one weird baby Bigfoot, I guess we can call him,
That's
right?
what I like to call them.
The baby Bigfoot. But he said that the eyes were closer. Now, This is gonna blow you guys' mind here. Okay. This was totally unexpected, but Benny said that their eyes would glow. I've never heard about Bigfoot eyes glowing. All right. That's the first I ever heard of anything like that. And we've been doing this now 5 years. Okay. I'm just going to put that out there. We've talked to all kinds of cryptid people. Never once has anybody told us that their eyes glow or like sparklers. But the one baby Bigfoot, quote unquote, had its eyes closer together. And I believe those eyes were like glowing too. It was some kind of a different Bigfoot. I think these are like, I'm telling you, I think they're like the grays. I think there's some type of an intelligence. I see some people mentioning demonic skinwalkers. I'm not ruling that out. Considering this land here, this land is energetic. There is flowing water under the ground. Whenever you have something flowing, like the blood and body fluids flowing through your body, you create a current, a charge. Now imagine hundreds of billions of water, gallons of water flowing underground over crystalline structures. Like if there's limestone, you probably got quartz and everything else in there. You're going to generate some type of a current. It's definitely energetic. But back to the glowing eyes thing. Last week, we got contacted by an agent of a author. His name is Maxim Furyk. Never heard of this guy. Don't know anything about him, but he's done a lot of investigations and writing into the Smurl house and the haunting, which is what The Conjuring is based on. Now, I'm going through his material that he sent us, like his press pack and all that, and I got to show you guys the book that he wrote. I haven't read it. I got to stop sharing. Now I have to share this one. Are you ready for this?
Because, of course, we'll have him talk about the book when
yes,
he's on.
He's our guest next week. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? He wrote a book called The Lost Tribes of Bigfoot. Do you notice anything about the Bigfoot in that picture? Never heard of this. Only heard it from Benny when he came on here and was talking about this. And now we've got a guy coming on who wrote a book about this stuff. The glowing eyes. Some type of technology or something. I'm telling you, like, it just feels to me. I'm not a touchy-feely person, but it feels to me like this is evidence of some type of technology that these non-human intelligences or whatever, it's something going on. They are presenting themselves to people based on kind of the cultural norms of the time. That's my thoughts on it right now.
Yeah, and we'll find out more as far
So
as
next
what
week,
our guests next week. But that is what we're going to be talking about next Sunday, along with the Conjuring House and
oh, where is
Ed
my
and Lorraine Warren?
I had I wonder, dang it. Anyways.
Well, we've got a couple videos that we were going to share.
I got a couple other pictures here real quick.
I didn't realize you were snapping so many pictures. We were
I was
engrossed in conversation.
Yes. I was doing too many things at the same time. Okay, so this is that field. Their house is over here. Next pic shows off to the right a little bit more. And if you zoom in,
there's the cemetery.
There's part of the cemetery right there. Now, oh boy, you want to talk about getting in trouble. Let's see. There's a little bit more of the area. It's loading.
And this was not the area that we got stopped in.
No. The cemetery. Michelle, do you want to talk about what he said about the cemetery? what Benny was saying and what
It
he
sparked
was
my
told.
memory. It's been a
What
couple weeks since we were there.
the feet washing up.
Okay, you remember more of the details.
Okay.
I remember the
When
story
Benny
about
was
the
abducted.
feet.
Okay. When Benny was abducted, it was either him or somebody else that was abducted telling him their story. I can't remember, but regardless, whoever was being abducted was looking around or walking around with these aliens or baby Bigfoot or whatever. And on the table, they would see bodies. I think it was Benny. And they had cut the feet and the head off of somebody laying on a table, and they set it off to the side. And Benny had received a message from these things while he was there, and they told him, don't worry about it. We're not going to hurt you. We're not going to hurt you. And Benny says, you just cut that person's head and feet off. Oh, they don't, it's not going to bother them. Don't worry about it. Come to find out, what they think might be going on is that these things are also taking corpses. And lo and behold, somewhere, I want to say British Columbia or on the east coast of Canada or whatever, feet were washing up by a lot. Like a lot of people missing their feet still in some of the shoes and not necessarily decayed because the water, bro.
I know it was
it was so mind-blowing. This thing that he was telling me.
Yep, it was British Columbia.
British Columbia.
Coast of Washington State in the US and British Columbia.
And what does the lovely Google AI say?
Oh God, it does since like at least 20 human feet in shoes have been discovered.
Yeah.
So it's a complete phenomena of them washing up, well, obviously. So, but that.
Oh yeah, T-Bone's a Canadian. There you go, Vancouver Island, British Columbia. Yeah, yeah. And then they said one of the news articles I was reading, and I feel like I'm in a meme where Jesus is standing over my shoulder, waiting for me to laugh. And like the memes I'm talking about, people, where it's like something bad happens and you can see the guy is trying not to laugh, and Jesus is like right here where my little alien driver guy is right there. I was reading one of the news articles that I found about this thing going on, and they said as the feet are washing up, and I can't help it, I'm laughing more at the stupid people that wrote the article, that there was no foul play involved in these feet washing up on shore. I can't, Michelle. I can't. How can there be no foul play involved with feet within shoes washing up on the shore? I mean, guys, it's fine.
They just want to go out for a walk.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. What in the world?
Get some miles in.
How do you do that? This is why people don't like the mainstream media. I swear to God.
Oh.
Let's see. New England Dirt Roadie says yes. Lots of feet washing ashore in Vancouver, Canada.
That's just crazy.
Jason says stinky feet.
Pew pew
pew pew. I don't know. I'm telling you guys, the more we go into this stuff, the weirder and weirder it gets. I can't. Oh my God.
But if they are going after corpses for test dummies,
or they're doing something right, Benny seemed to think that they might be like harvesting brains, like for computer, like human, seeing how the human works and turning the brain on and using it.
But I'll tell you, they ever prove this to be true, the uptick in people getting cremated because they won't
They won't
want to be
want to.
bothered in their resting place. That's crazy.
Well, one of the things I do want to talk about when we get ready to end the show, um, this stuff is getting ready to. I think something is getting ready to happen. So we're going to talk about Beatrice Vio. Man, what is her name? Her last name Villarreira. Villa Roel. We're going to talk about her for a minute, and show you the scientific paper that she put out there with one of her co-scientists. We're going to talk about that for a minute, but let's show you guys a video where the metal was found. Now, the sound is not going to be the greatest. All right. Oh, and hey, T-Bone, thank you very much for the 5 gifted subs out there. So 5 lucky people just received free memberships for the month, and Merry Christmas. So, all right.
We haven't even gotten through Thanksgiving yet.
I know, but it's okay. We had our first snowfall today in Southeast
We
Michigan.
did. It was pretty.
It was pretty. Yeah. Okay.
Not enough for a snow day, though.
Squirrel moment. Okay. Now, the sound is not the best because Michelle was in the back seat. I was in the front next to Benny, and they took us to the place, the original house where they found the metal. Now, there's not a lot to see here, but at least you can see the actual area where the metal, fell out of the craft. And it had nothing to do with his son shooting at a UFO. That was a totally different event.
Or the neighbor cracking off shots trying to get deer in the woods and actually hitting their...
Or just practicing, just shooting into the woods.
Doing target shooting in the woods.
It's Appalachia. I mean, people shoot first and ask questions later. I mean,
start finding bullet holes in the side of your house because your neighbors...
Which they did.
Yep.
I had to go and talk to the neighbor at one point.
Quit shooting your 12 gauge.
Yes. All right. So let's take a look at this video. I can't zoom in or anything, but I'm going to be quiet. You guys take a listen. This is them explaining the metal in the area where they found it.
Go down a little bit, Benny, and then turn around. You don't have to go down to the house because you got to go down there to see the house. You can't see the house from the road.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause it real quick. So we're driving on the main driveway, but the house is down in a ravine. Like it's a little, best way to describe it is almost like a little valley where they built their house right over here. And then this structure right here, this garage, she says, was not there. They did not have that done, but you're going to see it here in a minute. So we're getting kind of close on their property.
So pause it there for a second.
Okay.
So the reason that we had to stop and not go the full length of the driveway is because let's just say that they're really not as welcome at their previous homestead.
Yeah.
Due to a camera crew. Can we say what Tom DeLong?
Yeah.
Oh, I just said it.
Yeah.
That literally ransacked the house going in and out during winter time when they were doing some filming. So it really kind of...
No, that was not Tom DeLong.
Was it not?
No, it was Daryl Sims and that crew.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the film crew.
Uncovering aliens, they went in and out of the house for whatever reason and kind of trashed it. Yeah.
So not very welcome on the property. And because we are in an area where guns are used, we were quick to get
Yeah.
out of there, but at least wanted to see the driveway where the metal had landed.
Yeah, so let's keep playing.
And they turn around and I don't think they, since the house had been cheated.
All right, and then Michelle gets a
Where it was? Yeah, but maybe a little bit further up.
so right it was right in here. This is where the metal dropped off the UFO. Right there.
So where you see that little white speck.
Yep, that's the top of a car. So it was right in that area where the metal came down. So that is one of the videos that we were able to get. Now this next one,
I don't know how we got on this subject, but I
I
heard
asked them.
I heard the conversation
Yeah.
going on in the front seat. I'm like, I'm gonna record this.
Yeah. So what you're gonna hear, it's not very long, but I asked them it with all of the sightings and things going on, has anybody ever talked about like cattle mutilation? And lo and behold, Benny says, why, yes. Like, wait a minute, you didn't tell us anything about this before. So I'm gonna play this for you guys. Listen to this.
Buying cattle. Cody.
So what he's saying is that they did have cattle on their property. And this is where right before Michelle started recording, they had cattle on their property. However, they had to stop buying cattle. And then he explains why. By the way, can you guys hear this? Is the sound coming through? Just a thumbs up or something in chat. Anybody?
I'll play it and say,
Okay.
well, no, right now because you're not playing it.
Cody. Guy who's down the line. Yeah. Went out. How many was it? 12 of them the first time or 6? You got 6 or 12 calves.
Started off with 6.
Males. They was all of them died. Okay. And they went out and got like 12. Okay, you got like 12 more of them. We paid for them. I let them do everything. And they all died. They was killed. He went out to the barn and he said 2 of them, the last 2, looked like something stomped them into the freaking ground. They said there's blood coming out of their eyes and nose and mouth and all this other stuff, you know. He just picked it up and buried all of them out there in the back behind the barn.
Okay. So I saw some of you saying that it was really low. I'm going to try one other thing, and I want you guys to hear him telling the story. I think I know what might be going on. Here we go. All right. I think I fixed it. So he's talking about they start out with 6 heads of cattle. Then they went to 12. Now I'm going to play this again. And I'm sorry for the background noise. It's dirt roads. We're driving through the small hills of Appalachia right there, and it's just noisy and stuff. But take a listen now. Let me know if this is better. It should be.
Stop buying cattle. Cody, the guy who was telling you about the light,
Yeah.
he went out and how many was it? 12 of them the first
6.
time or 6?
6.
You got 6 or 12 calves.
Started off with 6.
Yeah.
Males. They was all of them died. Okay. And so he went out and got I'm thinking 12. Okay, you got like 12 more of them. We paid for them, but you know, I let them do everything. And they all died. They was killed. he went out to the barn and he said two of them, the last two, looked like something stomped them into the freaking ground, and said there's blood coming out of their eyes and nose and mouth and all this other stuff, you know. He just picked them up and buried all of them out there in the back behind the barn.
Okay, so if it was hard to hear, I'm gonna clean that up in when I do the audio podcast version of this. But what he was basically saying is they started out with 6 cattle, then they ended up buying 6 more, and Cody, which is his son, was the one taking care of the cattle. He comes out, and a bunch of the cattle had been killed, and 2 of them looked like they were literally like stomped into the ground. Now, it could have looked like they were stomped in the ground by something. My thoughts are that they were dropped from a very high like altitude. Now, I didn't get to see it. They buried them and stuff. This was a while ago. But they have had cattle mutilation, and they also came across one of these Bigfoot creatures eating a deer, like ripped its legs off and everything. And I know it's graphic, but they came across one of these Bigfoot creatures that had captured and killed a deer along the side of the road, and it just kind of looked at them while it was ripping off the deer's legs to eat. So there is that. So again, a very, very interesting trip, and we've been talking about when we could get back down there again to do some more actual really good recordings and things. This was like our first trip to go down there to get a feel for everything. So
We're hoping March.
yeah, we hope sometime in March we can get back down there. Now, Michelle, what is your breakdown of the site and everything with the metal and all of that? What are your initial impressions?
Oh, I know that I would like to see the other reports,
Yep.
the ones that came up missing.
The ones that were taken. They were stolen.
Stolen. I know that Benny and Benny's been an experiencer since what, the 70s?
Since he was little, yeah.
Yeah, well, in even further back from then, I know that we talked a lot about what happened in the 70s. And for those who were wondering if we met Alien Baby, no, she had got stuck at work.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get to meet her this time.
So we did try to get her to tag along with us in the evening, but somehow that didn't work out this time.
Yeah.
Hopefully next time. But we did get to talk to her a little bit over the car audio for the phone.
Yep.
Still a lot of work to do. It's like I want more proof of things. I want pictures of things. I want videos of things. I wish someday Benny puts like Ring cameras all over his house on the outside. Heck,
Yeah.
even on the inside, because there was a heck of a story that we had talked about with one of his kids there
Yep.
about a fog that was in the house.
It only filled the house and was not any fog outside at all.
Yeah, not
Like weird stuff like
not
portals
smoke
opening
or anything, like that. There was no smoke, no backup from a fireplace or anything, but like a fog. And then at one point, the fog was only in one bedroom.
Correct.
And nowhere else in the house, and not outside. So just the odd things like that, I am all about.
Yeah.
Like seeing more of the evidence. The metal was part of the evidence.
Yep.
For Benny, and the fact that we were able to see it and hold it and examine it. Do you have the little?
Yes.
So towards the end of our visit, when we were in the home, Benny had Patsy get a little container, and then all of a sudden he looks at me and says, "Happy birthday."
Put it up toward, yeah.
I know it's so hard
There you go.
to see.
We now, there you go.
Ah.
We now have our own samples of the material, which we are locking up in a way.
So if we start
Far
having
away.
more experiences here in this lovely little abode
Yeah.
by Metro Airport.
Oh, somewhere near Detroit. We'll be moving around quite a bit at this point. But yeah, so we officially have some samples. Now my initial thoughts are, I told you my thoughts on what the Bigfoot creatures are. I think they're some type of alien entities. Call them demons, call them skinwalkers, whatever you want. Whatever this, like Nathaniel Gillis says, whatever these intelligences or this intelligence is, they know us. They read our minds. They can project and create things, right? Technology. They seem to have some kind of technology. I don't know if they are like off-world beings necessarily. And I think that they will project whatever our brains, they think our brains can handle, or what they know our brains can handle. That's what you're going to see. I'm not 100% convinced on it. It's just a working theory that I have. They could be interdimensional, whatever that means. If they're moving in between dimensions, they got to have some kind of technology to do it. Benny was talking about seeing a portal, and when the Bigfoot creatures would walk into like this portal, it was kind of blurry, and when they would go into the portal, one of the funny things that happened, he said they would bounce back and forth really fast within the portal, and then it would just disappear. So probably some type of energy distortion, right? Just like a heat mirage coming off a blacktop in the summer, just like that triangle that we saw. It's really bizarre, but I think, and it goes to my question that I asked in chat. And if you haven't answered this question yet, please do. I said, is Earth being watched by a non-human intelligence? So far, out of 32 votes, 94% of you say yes. All right. So if you haven't answered that poll yet, please go and answer that. I want to know what you guys think. Yeah, it's an energetic area for sure. Another Skinwalker Ranch type situation. That whole area there. And now what's funny is, if I think about the limestone quarry and how they're digging into that land and everything, they're disrupting the land. And I think anything like that. And I also think that these things are mining. They're like getting the materials and stuff from somewhere. And I don't know. That's just my thoughts. They're projecting what they want us to see so we can handle it. Something that'll make sense, like a Bigfoot. Because how many times have you guys heard about a Bigfoot? It's being chased by researchers. They follow the footprints. The footprints just stop, and then they see an orb, right? And they see a UFO going off in the distance. I really think there's something there. Loosh mining. Yeah. Loosh. Yeah. So, if there's quartz there, I'm sure there's quartz there. Absolutely. Yep. So, Metalhead respectfully disagrees with me. Cool. I love it.
I do all the time.
Yeah. I'm used
Although
to
sometimes I'm not respectful.
it. But yeah, I think that there's a lot going on there, and it's going to take a lot to go through. I think this metal is legit. I think they stole the most important part of this aluminum, this alloy. Off of it, you can see where they drilled stuff out of it. Yeah, it's a lot of research, and you guys are going to be seeing a documentary that's going to be coming out soon. That's being put together. So hopefully we'll be able to talk more on that. So, and I want to switch gears. I don't know, Michelle, did you want to add anything else on this?
No, let's go ahead and move over to the
All right.
report that you were talking
Yeah.
about.
So making the airwaves or the internet circuit is a scientist. Her name is Beatrice Villarroel. I think that's how you say it, Villarroel. And she's an astronomer, and she came up with this idea to look at the digital photographic plates of a location called Palermo Observatory in California. And she went back through their digital plates all the way back to like 1949 through 1947. And she wanted to look at pictures of the night sky. All right. So I'm going to share this with you guys and read you the abstract from the paper. I find it very, very interesting and very telling. Let me zoom in on this. And I'm just going to talk about this for a minute, and then we're going to be probably getting out of here relatively quickly. Okay. So here's the story. So this is the abstract of her paper. And there's a couple key things that I think are very important. So transient star-like objects of unknown origin have been identified in the first Palermo. What is that, Michelle?
Palomar.
Jeez, my brain is not working now. Observatory Sky Survey. And that is called POSS-I or -1. It's probably -I. Conducted prior to the first artificial satellite. So these are photos of the nighttime sky for years before Sputnik was ever launched into space and orbiting the planet. We tested speculative hypotheses that some transients are related to nuclear weapon testing or unidentified anomalous phenomenon UAP reports. A data set comprising daily data from November 19th, 1949 to April 28th, 1957 regarding identified transients, nuclear testing, and UAP reports was created. So it was 2,718 days of data they were looking at. Results revealed significant. So that is a P factor equal to 0.008. That is a 0.18% chance. The associations between nuclear testing and observed transients with transients 45% more likely on dates within plus or minus 1 day of nuclear testing. For days on which at least one transient was identified, significant associations were noted between total number of transients and total number of independent UAP reports per date. That is a P factor of 0.015 or 1.5%. That is also significant. That is a significant association. For every additional UAP report on a given date, there was an 8.5% increase. Hold on a minute. Got a cough. My throat is getting dry and my voice is cracking.
All that
Okay.
talking that we do during the week.
Yeah. Once again, for every UAP report on a given date, there was an 8.5% increase in the number of transients identified. Now, you're wondering what transients are. They say star-like objects. In an interview on Jesse Michaels, she got more specific. She said they were a weird mirror or disc-shaped object that was photographed by the observatory. Okay. So that's what a transient is. It's a freaking UFO that was captured on film. All right. It says here, small but significant 0.008. So a 0.8% association between nuclear testing and number of UAP reports were also noted. So here's what they're saying, okay? These transients have been here watching us, and every time there was nuclear testing going on, the more transients or these disc-like objects showed up in these photos, either on the day or within the day or right after the day of an actual nuclear test. This was in the 40s, late 40s, early 50s, all the way to 57 that they did their testing. Also, UAP or UFO reports increased after the nuclear testing. There was a dramatic increase of the reports of UFOs after nuclear testing. So when I was asking, is Earth being watched by a non-human intelligence? She's did the work. She did the data. She did the work, and she found that absolutely there's a correlation, and it is very, very tiny that this is not what the correlation is. That's what the significant associations here are talking about. So it says findings suggest associations beyond chance between the occurrence of transients and both nuclear testing and UAP reports. These findings may help, what is that? Elucidate the nature of POSS-I transients and strengthen empirical support for the UAP phenomenon. We gotcha, because there was nothing orbiting Earth. Nothing was orbiting Earth before 1957. I think Sputnik was in 58 or late in 57. I would have to like Google that to remember or find it. But so they've got these pictures, and the testing that she did had involved using Earth's shadow. These things are reflecting the sun back in the pictures. There have been people from Harvard Observatory who were busted in the 50s by their students, and like a secretary who then became a astronomer. They busted these people destroying these films. They didn't want them to be shown. So there's a lot going on here, but I'm going to throw the link in the show description once we're done. You guys can go and check out this paper, but I think this explains a lot. And then when you get into the 60s, especially here in Michigan and those people out in Montana at the Maelstrom nuclear missile sites, and what all of these guys that were in these nuclear missile programs have been saying when they come out and do their quote unquote whistleblowing or giving their witness statements as to what happened. I'm telling you, they were watching us to see how we were progressing with these nuclear weapons. And it was probably something that had caught whatever this intelligence is, caught their attention. And yeah, they're very interested in us for sure now. Right? Yep. Minot. Yep. Minot and Maelstrom. That's right. Yep. So when you think of 1966 here in Michigan, we had nuclear missile sites that surrounded Michigan, that surrounded Southeast Michigan, because we had the massive tank plants here. General Motors, most of the industry for the United States war effort, the Warren tank plant, Warren, the city of Warren, building M1, A1, A2 Abram tanks and all that stuff there.
Oh, the Wayne truck assembly.
You
tanks.
got it. Yep. So, they were interested in what our war capabilities are. So this makes sense. And this is empirical data. Now, I'm looking at all this in like a big picture mode. There's this report that's out there, and now she's starting to get pushed back, but she doesn't care. This is all open source now at this point, because she wants people to see if they can validate or, disprove her findings. Some people say like the films or the digital pictures are like breaking down or there's errors, but they went through them all. And I wrote down this number. When they went through all of this stuff, she found 105,000 of these objects in these pictures. 105,000 disc-shaped objects in orbit reflecting sunlight that was caught by this observatory. The Palomar Observatory Sky Survey, they call it. This is in California. All right, so when you start to look at this, you look at the metal and stuff and how it's getting out there, and we're pushing it and we're looking for reports. When you start to add all this stuff up, and then we got Donald Trump Jr. having on Lou Elizondo, and who's the other guy from News Nation? Coulthart, Ross Coulthart, on his show talking about UAPs. You got JD Vance, who's very interested. You got Gabbard out there. You got Paula, what's her name? Paulina Luna.
Yep.
Right. All these guys are interested. Ross Coulthart, yeah, or Coulthart, something like that. Yep. So anyways, when you start to look at all this, and then we have Stephen Bassett wanting to come back on and talk about what's happening before the new year comes in, there's something that's going to go down. And my conspiracy folks out there are going to be like, it's a false flag. Other people are going to be like, yay, I think we're being watched. I think we've been watched for a long time. And I think for us to have full contact, this is just my hypothesis, for us to have full contact with whatever this thing is, it's going to be up to them, right? They're going to control the contact to see if, they're watching to see how this all plays out, to see if we would be able as a human species able to handle it, because they've been playing with us and watching us for a while. They get us, they know what's going on. But anyways, I think that's going to be it for tonight, Michelle. What do you think?
We're up for a long week. We're going to have some kids
God.
tomorrow that are not going to be happy that they didn't get a snow day.
Yeah. Well, there is that.
The first snow of the season.
And we're working toward Thanksgiving break, which everybody needs. So before we take off, the one thing I want to do is show you our channel here on YouTube. This is our channel. You guys obviously are all familiar with it right now watching us. But down here, you can see what we have coming up. Okay, so we got the Smurl haunting, Ed and Lorraine Warren and Annabelle. All right, that's going to be next Sunday at 8 o'clock with Maxim Furyk, the author of the Smurl haunting.
Yes.
And it was supposedly Ed and Lorraine Warren's last thing that they did, their last investigation, but I don't think that's true.
Wayne already looked over at me earlier today.
Yeah.
He's like, this one's all you.
Yep, this one's going to be all her. And then coming up on Sunday, the 23rd, we have Is Disclosure Imminent with Stephen Bassett jumping back with us as we talk about Luna Gabbard and Donald Trump Jr. They're all out there trying to push a narrative, or are they getting ready to see how we're going to respond to things?
Isn't that the same one that was on the TV show?
What are you talking
That
about?
he had the son.
Huh?
The Donald Trump Jr.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, as far as the one that's doing the podcast, the show where he would tell everyone that they were fired.
No.
Oh, okay.
That was Trump.
No, but he had his kids on the show too.
Oh, I never watched it. I didn't care. I don't care about Trump. His son's more interesting now.
I just remember watching the show, and I remember his kids were on there.
Well, good for his kids, I guess.
Let's go back to that respectful or disrespectful, agree to disagree.
Hey, we're both middle school teachers. What do you expect? I have now the brain of a
I'm going to
8th
have to
grade
show
boy.
you at least the panel at one point.
All right,
So
let's get out of here. Thanks, everybody. Once again, we appreciate you guys all being here. Thanks, T-Bone, for the gifted subs or
that's The Apprentice. Now I got to look it
The
up
Apprentice,
so I can show you.
and all that good stuff. We really appreciate you guys joining us tonight for this look into our trip down to visit the alien metal and everything. So with that being said,
Have a great night, everyone.
have a great night, everybody. And remember, if you just need to get your sins out before the week, and you got to get your sinning done so you can go into your work week and feel good about it, this is the place to be. So thanks, everybody. And remember, keep those eyes. Michelle's thinking. She probably doesn't realize what I said. To the sky. Peace.
I'm just glad you didn't go 6